Hi everyone, welcome to another how-to video. Today we are going to be looking at different ways to colour windows. So I have drawn some very basic windows on my little sketch pad here, and we are going to zoom in a little bit. Now my first window is a black window, and I thought I would save time by colouring it before we start, really. And if you want a sort of spooky house, or just to make it look like an empty house, a black window can be good, but it just looks like an open void. So if you want to try and give the impression of glass, you want a white pen. I've got a Posca pen here. You can use a sort of jelly roll like this, or other white pens. And what I do is I just put some lines across the glass, well, across the black window like that, so it looks a bit more like glass. If this is in the context of a house and you're looking from far away, it looks a bit more convincing. I realise it isn't, you know, when it's close up, it's not perhaps so convincing. Right, another idea. I left my sheet next door with all my ideas on, so I'm going to have to hope I remember. Now this one, this is our window here with our 4 panes of glass. This is the way that Johanna Basford colours glass. So she will take an area like that and then colour this in grey. Excuse me. And do that on every pane of glass. So that one, and then this one, leaving the white in the same sort of area. She's better at doing a straight line than I am. You could use a ruler. I could use a ruler, but I'm sort of doing this for speed. So as I say, this isn't my idea. This is how I've seen Johanna Basford do it on her tutorials. So I thought I would just show you the idea, and it's probably more effective if you do draw straight, because it would make sense if it was parallel with the window frames. And then another one obviously here, and yeah, as I say, it's better if it's straight, but that is that idea. And I think it's worth making sure you use like a cold grey rather than a warm grey. Now I try to make them all even. I haven't here, but I would normally. So that's that one. Now another idea I do is I get my light grey. This is just a Staedtler light grey, but it doesn't matter what you use. And I do a few lines. So it's the same as we've done on the black, but it's like the light is reflecting off the window, and I try not to go over the frame, so it just looks like it's reflecting light. But we can do something a little bit better than that if you want something more advanced. I've got a darker grey here, and I'll show you. So I would do a few lines like this. Again, if you've got a building with lots of windows, you want your diagonal to be the same across all of them, and then take your lighter grey and do a few others, and then you've got a bit of a different look to different sort of light coming on. And you could even do some white lines on it as well with your Posca. They're not going to show up on this white paper, but if you've got a coloured paper, even if it's cream, it might make a difference. Say this is pure white paper, it's not going to show up. And a warm window is what I prefer to do. I'll show you 2 ways of doing a warm window. So you can take a nice warm yellow like this and just colour the whole thing in yellow, as if you've got a yellow light behind it. Now if you've got something in the window, often Johanna Basford for example will draw a plant on the windowsill, there might be curtains, things like that. Obviously you need to colour those in, the corresponding colours, and then you can still do these sorts of effects around them. Obviously a yellow background is pretty easy to do with, say, your curtains here or your plant there. When you've got one like this, make sure you put it on top of the items as well, because this is on the outside of the glass, so anything that's inside needs to be separate. Now lastly, we have, so I just hear noises outside the door, it's fine. Lastly, this window is a more advanced version of this one. So I'd start with a very orangey yellow and go around the edge of the window. Now I'm doing this quite quickly and roughly because this is a quick how-to video. It's not meant to be neat, it's not in the book, but you can do it a lot neater than me. But it's just an idea really. So sort of like that, we've got a border, and then we want to fade it because we're going to blend it into the other yellows that we use. So really make that hard and defined on that edge, and then gently bring the colour out, making it lighter as you go. The best way to do that is to put more pressure and more application, so up and down, up and down, up and down, and then as we go in here we're only going to cover that a few times, and there we're only going to do it once. You might not want to put more pressure on a book if it's a thin paper, so it might just be about adding layers. So there we go, and we've got a sort of lighter layer in this centre, and we get our next yellow. I'm going to use 3, so we use this one, which is our next sort of lightest one. Go right over the top of the yellow that's there. Start with quite a hard application or lots of layers. As I say, it depends. This paper is really sturdy and it's actually quite toothy, so I need to press quite hard to get the colour down, and I don't care if it goes through to the bit underneath, but if you're in a book you would want to be a lot more careful. And then lighter, so less layers towards the middle, like this, as we go. And then our last lightest yellow, we then overlap all of it again, but take this colour right across, and we can take it right through to the centre. Now the orangey yellow and the next yellow are quite far apart colour wise. You can leave it almost with some white paper in the middle to give a sort of glow, warm glow, but there's quite a layer here, yeah, where it hasn't blended. So you can go back to your yellow and you can just soften that edge until you're happy. So because these pencils layer on top of each other, you can just keep going, or you can use a blending pencil or blending pen, but I find it easier in this circumstance to go back to your colour and just use it a bit more, and that's just soften the edge a little bit. And you can fiddle and faddle. Obviously, as I said before, I'm in a hurry, so trying to make you a quick video. My how-to videos are not designed to be quick, slow. So there are a few different ideas for you. They're all quite basic, and this is quite dark. I would probably do it a little bit lighter, maybe, you know, but it's worth experimenting on some paper like this, thinking about your ideas. I particularly like this one. I like warm looking windows and houses, and do this one quite a lot. Even on a really small window you can usually get a little layer of a lighter yellow. You might only be able to use 2 colours, but that's quite fun. That one's quite simple. It still looks warm, but you could use a much warmer yellow like this one if you want that to be warmer. Again, that one is just a few lines, and you can, those are quite thick, and it all depends on the size of your window. You might just want to do a really thin line like that one. Excuse me. And then you've got this. You can think about your light source with this one and which bit of the window might be white if you want to make it a little more complex, but if you don't, just choose one, just do it the same on every window and then it works. The same as the direction of the stripe, do it the same on every window. Now when you do one like this, you could put stripes on it, but it depends. I don't know if a white pen's really going to show up on a yellow, so I don't normally bother. So, but you could do them like this, and there we go. And that's me. So I hope that was quite useful for you. Very quick, how-to video, but just give you a few ideas on what to do. So there we go. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that was okay. All my how-to videos are in a playlist, so you can go and have a little look at all the other ones that I've done, and I will link to it at the end of the video so you can have a look at it. So stay tuned and then you can click it and have a look. So thank you very much for watching and happy colouring.